The room was silent, save for the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Isabella sat on the edge of the couch, her fingers trembling as they hovered over her phone screen. The glow of the device illuminated her face, casting shadows that seemed to mirror the turmoil in her heart. She had always been a woman of routine, of predictability, a loving wife, a devoted mother, a pillar of her small community in the quiet town of Willowbrook. But tonight, she was someone else entirely. Someone she didn't recognize. Someone who had crossed a line she never thought she'd approach. The question that had started it all echoed in her mind, relentless and unyielding. Does it really matter? It had been a joke at first, a casual remark tossed into the air during a girls' night out. But now, it had become an obsession, a secret she carried like a stone in her chest. Isabella's breath hitched as she stared at the message on her screen. It was from him. From Liam. His words were bold, confident, and dripping with a promise that both terrified and exhilarated her. She knew she shouldn't reply. She knew she should delete the app, block his number, and forget this ever happened. But her finger moved before her mind could catch up. "Tell me more," she typed, her heart pounding like a drum in her ears. And just like that, Isabella's life began to unravel. Isabella had always been content with her life. Married to her high school sweetheart, Daniel, she had built a comfortable existence in Willowbrook. Daniel was kind, reliable, and deeply devoted to her. They had 2 children, a cozy home, and a life that many would envy. But contentment, Isabella would later realize, can sometimes feel like a cage. And curiosity, once awakened, is a difficult beast to tame. It all began innocently enough. During a wine-fueled evening with her closest friends, the conversation had taken a turn toward the intimate. Laughter filled the room as they shared stories and confessions, the kind that only come out when inhibitions are lowered. Then, one of her friends, MIA, leaned in with a mischievous grin and asked the question that would haunt Isabella for weeks to come. Does size really matter? The group erupted into laughter, some blushing, others rolling their eyes. Isabella had laughed along, but the question lingered in her mind long after the wine glasses were emptied and the night had ended. At first, she dismissed it as a silly thought, something not worth dwelling on. But as days turned into weeks, the question became a quiet obsession. She found herself scrolling through forums late at night, reading stories from women who spoke of experiences that sounded almost mythical. They described passion, intensity, and a kind of connection that Isabella couldn't quite imagine. She told herself it was harmless curiosity. After all, she loved Daniel. He was her rock, her partner, the father of her children. But the more she read, the more she wondered, what if there's something I'm missing? What if there's more? One night, after Daniel had fallen asleep, Isabella found herself downloading a dating app. Her hands shook as she created a profile, using a fake name and no pictures. She told herself it was just an experiment, a way to satisfy her curiosity without crossing any real lines. But when messages started pouring in, men boasting about their prowess, their confidence, their willingness to show her what she was missing, Isabella felt a thrill she hadn't experienced in years. One message stood out. It was from a man named Liam. His words were direct, his confidence undeniable. "Hey," he wrote. "I saw your profile. Let's just say I've got what you're looking for. No strings, just fun. Let me know." Attached was a photo that left no room for doubt. Isabella's breath hitched as she stared at the screen, torn between guilt and a growing desire she couldn't ignore. Against her better judgment, she replied, "Tell me more." What followed was a whirlwind of secret meetings, stolen moments, and a growing addiction to the thrill of the forbidden. Liam was everything Daniel wasn't, bold, unpredictable, and intoxicatingly confident. With him, Isabella felt alive in a way she hadn't in years. But with every encounter, the guilt grew heavier. She was living a double life, and the cracks were beginning to show. Daniel noticed the changes in her. She was distant, distracted, and quick to anger. He tried to talk to her, to understand what was wrong, but Isabella shut him out, afraid of what would happen if he discovered the truth. The guilt ate at her, but the pull of Liam's world was too strong to resist. One evening, after a particularly heated argument with Daniel, Isabella met Liam at their usual spot, a small boutique hotel on the outskirts of town. As they lay in bed afterward, she confessed her fears. "Daniel's suspicious," she said, her voice trembling. "I think he knows something's going on." Liam shrugged, his tone dismissive. "So what? He doesn't own you." Isabella's anger flared. "He's my husband," she snapped. "If he finds out, it'll destroy everything." Liam propped himself up on one elbow, his expression serious for once. "Then end it," he said. "For yourself. You can't have both, Isabella. Sooner or later, you're going to have to choose." His words lingered in her mind long after she left the hotel that night. Sitting alone in her car, Isabella stared at her reflection in the rearview mirror. The woman looking back at her was a stranger, someone she never thought she'd become. She thought about Daniel, about the life they had built together, and the love that still lingered beneath the surface of her guilt. With a trembling hand, she picked up her phone and typed a message to Liam. "I can't do this anymore. It's over." She hesitated for a moment, then pressed send. Ending things with Liam wasn't easy. He didn't take it well, sending her messages and calls that she ignored. The temptation to go back was still there, but Isabella knew she couldn't. She had made her choice. Over time, things began to feel normal again. Daniel seemed happier, and Isabella made an effort to be more present in their marriage. But the guilt never fully went away. There were nights when she lay awake, staring at the ceiling and wondering if she had made the right choice. She knew she could never tell Daniel the truth. The risk was too great. So she carried the secret with her, burying it deep inside. Life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. And for now, that was enough. The story ends with Isabella sitting on the porch of her Willowbrook home, watching the sun set over the horizon. The weight of her choices still lingers, but she has found a fragile peace. She knows she can never undo what she's done, but she can choose to move forward, one step at a time.